Captain Lee stared at the flickering screen in disbelief. The radio waves coming through his headset were unlike anything he had heard in his 15 years of space patrol. Strange clicks and whistles mixed with what sounded like desperate screaming. His small patrol ship drifted near the edge of human space, where the stars looked different and the darkness felt deeper. "Control, this is Patrol 7. Lee spoke into his microphone. "I'm picking up some kind of transmission out here. Doesn't match any known human signals." Static crackled back at him. He was too far from Earth for clear communication, but that was normal for Outer Rim patrols. What wasn't normal was the massive shadow that suddenly blocked out the stars. Ahead of him, Lee's heart pounded as ship after ship emerged from the void. These weren't human vessels. Each one was the size of a city, with smooth black surfaces that seemed to absorb light. Strange blue lights pulsed along their hulls like veins carrying alien blood. There had to be at least 50 of them, maybe more, disappearing into the darkness beyond his senses. The alien fleet moved slowly, almost drifting. Something about their movement seemed wrong. Healthy ships didn't fly like that, with irregular patterns and sudden stops. Lee had seen damaged vessels before, and these ships flew like they were barely under control. His scanner beeped urgently. The alien fleet was heading straight for Research Station Beta, humanity's furthest outpost. The station held only 30 scientists and their families, studying the strange minerals found in this sector. They had no weapons, no shields, nothing to protect them from an alien invasion. Lee pushed his engines to maximum power, racing ahead of the alien fleet. His small fighter could move much faster than their massive ships. The station's communication tower came into view, a thin metal spike reaching toward the stars like a desperate finger. "Station Beta, this is Captain Lee," he called over the radio. "You have incoming hostiles, massive alien fleet approaching your position." Dr. Kim's voice crackled back, calm despite the situation. "How many ships, Captain?" "Too many to count. They'll reach you in 6 hours. Lee checked his instruments again. "I'm sending you the scanner data now." Back at the station, Dr. Kim studied the readings with growing concern. The alien ships were huge, but their energy signatures were weak and unstable. Most strange of all, the ships seemed to be leaking atmosphere into space. Whatever was inside those vessels was in serious trouble. "Captain Lee," Dr. Kim called back. "These ships aren't attacking. Look at their flight pattern. They're not coming to invade us, they're coming to ask for help." Lee frowned at his screen. The doctor was right. The alien ships had formed a protective circle around the research station, but their weapons weren't powering up. Instead, they were broadcasting the same distress signal over and over. The clicks and whistles weren't battle cries, they were pleas for assistance. One of the largest alien ships extended a docking tube toward the station. Through his telescope, Lee could see movement inside the transparent tunnel. The aliens were tall and thin, with pale blue skin and 4 arms, but something was terribly wrong with them. Many were collapsed on the floor, and others moved with the slow, painful steps of the dying dot. Dr. Kim suited up and entered the docking tube. What she found inside the alien ship shocked her. The corridors were filled with the sick and dying. The aliens had large, intelligent eyes that looked at her with desperate hope. Their leader, wearing what looked like a military uniform, approached her slowly. The alien commander touched a device on his chest, and suddenly Dr. Kim could understand his words. "Please," the alien said, his voice weak with exhaustion. "We have traveled so far, our people are dying. The plague has taken everything." Through the translator, the alien explained their terrible story. A disease had swept across the galaxy, wiping out planet after planet. It killed quickly and spread faster than any ship could fly. Entire civilizations had fallen in days. The survivors had fled in whatever ships they could find. Searching desperately for a cure, Dr. Kim collected samples of the alien blood and tissue. Back in her laboratory, she ran every test she could think of. The plague was unlike anything in human medical books. It attacked the aliens' immune systems, leaving them helpless against even simple infections. But then she made an incredible discovery. When she mixed human blood with the alien samples, something amazing happened. The human antibodies attacked the plague virus and destroyed it completely. Somehow, humans were naturally immune to the disease that had devastated the galaxy. "Captain Lee," Dr. Kim called excitedly over the radio. "You need to hear this. These aliens aren't here to conquer us. They're here because we're the only species in the galaxy that can save them." The revelation changed everything. Earth wasn't just another small planet anymore. Humanity held the key to saving countless civilizations from extinction. Admiral Parks' hands shook as he read Dr. Kim's report for the 3rd time. The words seemed impossible, yet the evidence was right there in front of him. Earth's Defense Command had been preparing for war when Captain Lee's message arrived. But now everything had changed. The massive alien fleet wasn't here to destroy humanity, they were here to be saved by it. "Get me a direct line to the alien commander," Park ordered his communication officer. The bridge of Earth's flagship buzzed with nervous energy. Every screen showed the enormous alien vessels surrounding their small research station. Ships so advanced they made human technology look like stone tools. The translation device crackled to life, and the alien commander's voice filled the bridge. Even through the mechanical translation, Park could hear the desperation and pain. "I am Fleet Commander Zara of the Corvani Alliance," the alien said. "What remains of the Alliance?" Park leaned forward in his command chair. "This is Admiral Park of Earth Defense Command. Our scientist says you need our help." "Help?" The alien's laugh was bitter and hollow. "Admiral, your species doesn't understand. We represent 12 different civilizations. We once controlled 300 star systems. Now we are the last survivors, fleeing in whatever ships we could salvage." Through the view screen, Park watched a smaller alien craft move between the massive ships. These weren't military vessels, he realized. They were refugee ships, packed with the survivors of an entire galactic civilization. Children pressed their faces against the windows, their large alien eyes staring at the small human station with curiosity and hope. "Commander." Han stepped up beside the Admiral's chair. "Sir, our sensors are picking up more fleets approaching, at least 6 different groups, all broadcasting the same distress signals." The alien commander continued his story, and with each word, the scale of the disaster became clearer. The plague had started in the galactic core, spreading outward like wildfire. Planets with billions of inhabitants had gone silent in a matter of days. The few survivors had fled toward the galaxy's edge, following rumors of a small blue world, whose people might hold the cure. "We could take what we need," Commander Zara said quietly. "Our weapons could glass your entire planet in minutes. Our ships could harvest your blood without your permission. But we've seen too much death, too much destruction. We won't become monsters to save ourselves." Admiral Park felt a chill run down his spine. The alien was right. Earth's most powerful weapons were like toys compared to the technology surrounding them. A single alien cruiser carried enough firepower to destroy entire cities. Their shields could deflect any missile humanity might throw at them. If they wanted to take human blood by force, nothing could stop them. But they weren't taking it, they were asking for it. Commander Han pulled up tactical displays showing the alien fleet positions. "Admiral, look at this. They've arranged their ships in a defensive formation, but they're protecting us, not threatening us. Every weapon system is powered down." On the main screen, smaller alien vessels approached the research station. These ships were different from the massive cruisers. They looked like medical transports, with red symbols that probably meant the same thing in any language. The aliens were preparing to receive medical treatment, not launch an attack. Dr. Kim's voice came through the communication system from the research station. "Admiral, I need to explain something about the cure. It's not just that we're immune to their plague. Our antibodies are incredibly effective against it. A single vial of human blood can treat dozens of alien patients." Park's mind raced with the implications. If Dr. Kim was right, then humanity wasn't just immune to the plague. They were the galactic equivalent of a miracle cure. Every drop of human blood could save alien lives. "There's more," Dr. Kim continued. "The aliens have been sharing their medical data with me. The plague isn't natural. Someone or something created it as a weapon. It was designed to target the specific genetic markers that most galactic species share. But humans evolved separately. On an isolated world, we're different enough that the plague can't touch us." Commander Han whispered to the Admiral. "Sir, do you realize what this means? We're not just another primitive species anymore. We're the most valuable people in the galaxy." The alien commander's voice returned to the speakers. "Admiral Park, we've intercepted communications from across the galaxy. Every surviving ship, every refugee fleet, every colony that still has power is heading toward your solar system. Earth is the only hope left for billions of survivors." Park looked out at the stars, knowing that more alien fleets were racing toward Earth even now. Some would arrive in days, others in weeks or months. All of them would be desperate, dying, and in need of the one thing only humans could provide. Commander Zara, Park said finally, "We'll help you, but we need to work together on this. Your people have technology and knowledge we need. Our people have the cure you need. Maybe together we can not just stop this plague, but find whoever created it." The alien commander was quiet for a long moment. When he spoke again, his voice carried something that hadn't been there before. Hope the medical bay at Research Station Beta had never seen anything like this. Dr. Kim moved between alien patients lying on makeshift beds, her hands steady despite the incredible pressure. Each patient was different. Some had blue skin and 4 arms, others were covered in scales, and a few looked almost human except for their silver eyes. But they all shared the same desperate look of beings fighting for their lives. Temperature is dropping again, called out Nurse Cho, monitoring the vital signs of a young alien who couldn't have been older than a human teenager. The creature's parents stood nearby, holding each other with their strange tentacle-like arms, watching their child slowly fade away. Dr. Kim rushed to her laboratory computer, studying the blood samples under her microscope. The human antibodies were working, but not fast enough. She needed to find a way to make the treatment stronger and work quicker. Every hour that passed meant more aliens died while waiting for help. Captain Lee's voice crackled over the intercom. "Doctor, we have a problem. More ships just came out of hyperspace, a lot more." Through the station's observation deck, the view was breathtaking and terrifying. What had started as 50 alien ships had grown into hundreds. Each new fleet that arrived brought different species, different ship designs, different languages, but they all brought the same plague and the same desperate hope. The newest arrivals were unlike anything Lee had seen before. Their ships looked like living creatures, with organic curves and surfaces that seemed to breathe. Other vessels appeared, to be made of pure crystal, refracting starlight into beautiful rainbow patterns. A few ships were so massive they had their own gravity fields, with smaller craft orbiting around them like moons. "Captain," his radar operator called out urgently, "I'm detecting weapons charging on some of the new arrivals. The crystal ships are powering up some kind of energy cannon." Lee's heart raced. Not all of the alien survivors were as peaceful as Commander Zara's fleet. Some of the newer arrivals had clearly decided that taking the cure by force was better than dying slowly in space. The crystal beings broadcast a message that the translation computers could barely understand, but the meaning was clear enough. They demanded immediate treatment or they would take what they needed. Back in the medical bay, Dr. Kim was making progress. She had successfully treated 12 alien patients, and each one was showing remarkable improvement. The human antibodies didn't just cure the plague, they seemed to make the aliens stronger and healthier than they had been before getting sick. Dr. Commander Zara approached her, moving much more steadily than he had days before. "My people are improving, but I must warn you, not all of the fleets arriving here are like mine. Some have lost too much, suffered too long. They're not thinking clearly anymore." Dr. Kim looked up from her microscope. "What do you mean?" "The crystalline collective that just arrived. They've been fighting the plague for 2 years. They've watched their entire species die except for the few thousand on those ships. They're desperate enough to do anything to survive." Through the station's windows, they could see the crystal ships positioning themselves in an attack formation. Their energy weapons cast strange shadows across space, creating geometric patterns of light that would have been beautiful under different circumstances. Captain Lee made a decision that would change everything. Instead of calling for Earth's military support, he opened a communication channel to all the alien fleets at once. "This is Captain Lee of Earth Defense. I know some of you are scared and angry. I know you've lost everything and everyone you care about, but listen to me carefully. We want to help you, all of you, but we can't help anyone if you start a war here." The crystal beings responded with harsh, musical tones that the translator struggled with. "You have what we need to survive. Our children are dying while you play scientist. Give us the cure now, or we will take it." Lee took a deep breath. "I understand your pain, but Dr. Kim is working as fast as she can. Look at Commander Zara's people, they're getting better. The cure works, but it takes time to make enough for everyone." More alien voices joined the conversation. A species that looked like giant insects buzzed angrily about their hive ships losing power. Robotic beings demanded immediate access to human biological samples. A group of creatures that seemed to be made of living rock insisted that their people on the planet-sized ships were dying by the thousands every day. Dr. Kim stepped up to the communication panel. "Everyone, please listen. I've been working with samples from all of your species. The good news is that human antibodies work on every type of plague I've tested. The bad news is that each species needs a slightly different treatment." She brought up holographic displays showing her research. The crystal beings need the antibodies mixed with a specific mineral compound. The insect species requires a different concentration. The rock people need the treatment delivered as a gas they can absorb through their skin. The communication channels fell silent as the aliens processed this information. Dr. Kim continued, I can make treatments for all of you, but I need time and I need cooperation. If anyone starts shooting, people will die, and that includes your own people who need medical attention. Commander Zara's voice cut through the tension. The human doctor speaks truth. My people are proof that cooperation works. We came here ready to fight, but we chose to trust instead. Now our children are playing again, our adults are returning to work, and our elderly are sharing stories instead of preparing to die. One by one, the alien fleets began powering down their weapons. The crystal ships dimmed their energy cannons. The insect hive ships retracted their stinger-like weapons. Even the massive planet ships stopped charging their world-cracking weapons. But Lee knew this was just the beginning. More fleets were still arriving every day, and not all of them would be as reasonable as these had been. The news hit Earth like a thunderbolt. Within hours of Admiral Park's broadcast, every major city on the planet had lines of volunteers stretching for blocks. People left their jobs, their schools, their daily routines to offer the one thing that could save an entire galaxy from extinction. In Seoul, factory worker Kim Tae gathered with his entire family at the donation center. His 8-year-old daughter looked up at him with curious eyes. Papa, will my blood really help the aliens get better? Yes, little one, Tae smiled, rolling up his sleeve as the medical technician prepared the needle. Your blood is very special. It can save lives across the stars. Similar scenes played out in every corner of Earth. In New York, office workers formed donation drives in their buildings. In Tokyo, students organized blood donation marathons at their universities. In Lagos, entire neighborhoods came together to contribute to the cause that had made humanity the most important species in the galaxy overnight. Dr. Kim watched the donation numbers climb on her computer screen. The response was overwhelming. Earth's population had rallied together in a way she had never seen before. Rich and poor, young and old, people from every nation were united in the effort to save alien lives. We're receiving 50,000 donations per hour, reported medical coordinator Lee from Earth's main processing center. At this rate, we'll have enough raw material to treat every alien in the fleet within a week. But the real miracle was happening in the orbital treatment centers that had been hastily constructed around Earth. Alien patients who had been near death just days before were now walking around, helping with the medical procedures, and sharing their knowledge with human doctors. The crystal beings turned out to be master engineers. As soon as they recovered, they began helping humans build better medical facilities. Their crystalline technology could purify and concentrate the human antibodies faster than any Earth-based equipment. What had once taken hours now took minutes. Commander Zara's people contributed their advanced transportation systems. Their cargo ships could carry medical supplies between Earth and the alien fleets with incredible speed. The journey that had taken Captain Lee's patrol ship hours now took the alien vessels mere minutes. The insect-like species brought their hive knowledge of organization and efficiency. They helped coordinate the massive logistics operation, ensuring that every alien patient received the right treatment at the right time. Their mathematical abilities were so advanced that they could calculate treatment schedules for thousands of different species simultaneously. Even the rock-like aliens contributed their strength and endurance. They worked tirelessly to build new facilities, their stone-like bodies requiring no rest as they constructed medical stations that could treat hundreds of patients at once. Admiral Park found himself in the most important diplomatic meeting in human history. The conference room aboard the combined alien medical ship was unlike anything from Earth. The walls seemed to shift and change color, adapting to the needs of the different species present. Some aliens needed bright light, others preferred darkness. Some breathed oxygen, others required methane or hydrogen. Admiral Park spoke the Galactic Council's representative, a tall, elegant being with silver skin and 3 eyes. Your species has accomplished something unprecedented. Not only have you saved our lives, but you've united survivors from across the galaxy in a common cause. Park looked around the room at the dozens of alien representatives. Each one had come from a different world, a different culture, a different way of thinking, yet they all shared the same gratitude toward humanity. We want to formally invite Earth to join the Galactic Council, continued the silver-skinned alien. Not as a junior member or a protected species, but as full equals with voting rights and territorial claims. The offer was staggering. Overnight, humanity would go from being unknown to being one of the most powerful species in the galaxy. Earth would have access to technologies that could solve every problem the planet faced. Clean energy, space travel, disease prevention, even solutions to climate change. But Park knew this was about more than just technology. What about the other species that might not have been affected by the plague? Won't they object to humans joining the council so quickly? The crystal being's voice chimed like musical bells. Admiral, there are no unaffected species. The plague reached every corner of the galaxy. Those who survived did so only by reaching Earth. Your people saved everyone. The insect representative's buzzing translation came through clearly. The humans have proven they think beyond their own survival. They could have demanded anything from us: technology, resources, territory. Instead, they asked for nothing and gave everything. As if to prove this point, news arrived from Earth that made everyone in the room pause. The planet's blood donation centers were running out of storage space. So many humans had volunteered that they had collected more antibody-rich blood than the medical centers could process. Your people continue to donate even though the immediate crisis is over. Observed the rock-like alien, his voice rumbling like distant thunder. They donate because they want to help, not because they have to. The meeting was interrupted by an urgent communication from the edge of the solar system. Captain Lee's voice crackled through the speakers with barely contained excitement. Admiral, you need to see this. The alien medical ships are sending out broadcasts across the galaxy. They're telling everyone about Earth, about the cure, about what humans did. The response was immediate and overwhelming. Alien communication networks that had been silent for months suddenly came alive with messages of hope. Distant colonies that had been preparing for extinction began planning for the future. Refugee fleets that had been drifting aimlessly through space changed course toward Earth. But more importantly, the broadcasts carried a new message. The small blue planet at the edge of the galaxy wasn't just a source of medical help. It was proof that different species could work together, that cooperation was stronger than conquest, and that sometimes the smallest worlds could make the biggest difference. The galaxy had found its new center, and it was called Earth. 2 years later, Captain Lee stood on the bridge of the starship Unity, watching Earth grow smaller in the viewscreen. But this wasn't the same small blue planet he had known all his life. Massive orbital stations now surrounded Earth like glittering jewels, each one a marvel of combined human and alien engineering. Medical ships arrived and departed constantly, carrying the life-saving treatments to every corner of the galaxy. Captain called out his first officer, a crystal being named Harmony whose body sparkled with rainbow colors. We're receiving a priority message from the Deep Space Medical Station. They've detected something unusual near the Vega system. Lee smiled at how natural it felt to work alongside his alien crew. The Unity was the first truly integrated starship, with humans, crystals, insectoids, rock people, and a dozen other species working together as one team. What had started as a desperate medical crisis had become the foundation for something incredible. Put it on screen, Lee ordered. Dr. Kim's face appeared on the main display, transmitted from the massive medical complex that now orbited Earth. She looked older but much happier, surrounded by alien medical equipment that could perform miracles. The old Earth hospitals never dreamed of. Captain, we've been tracking the source of the plague, and we think we've found something important. There's a derelict space station near Vega that's emitting the same energy signature as the plague virus. It might be where this whole nightmare started. Lee felt his pulse quicken. For 2 years, the galaxy had been focused on healing and rebuilding, but the question of who had created the plague remained unanswered. Someone or something had unleashed a weapon capable of wiping out entire civilizations. Until they found the source, the threat could return. We'll investigate it, Lee replied. How long until we can manufacture enough vaccines for a full exploration mission? Already done, Dr. Kim grinned. The new production facilities can create enough immunity boosters for your entire crew in about 6 hours. The alien medical technology is incredible, Lee. We can now prevent the plague instead of just treating it. The Unity's journey to Vega took 3 days using the new hybrid drive system. Human creativity had been combined with alien technology to create engines that could cross vast distances in a fraction of the time. The ship itself was a work of art, with living crystal walls that could repair themselves, organic computer systems that learned and adapted, and energy shields that grew stronger under attack. As they approached the mysterious station, Lee's diverse crew worked with perfect coordination. The insectoid navigation officer calculated approach vectors with mathematical precision. The rock-being engineers reinforced the ship's hull for potential combat. The Crystal crew members used their natural ability to interface with technology to scan the station's systems. "It's huge," whispered Communications Officer Park, a young human who had joined the crew fresh from the new Galactic Academy on Earth. "That station is the size of a small moon." The derelict station hung in space like a tomb, its dark surface showing no signs of life. But as the Unity drew closer, their sensors detected something that made everyone on the bridge fall silent. The station wasn't empty. Something was still moving inside. "Captain," Harmony's crystal body flickered with nervous energy. "I'm detecting artificial intelligence signatures. Whatever built this place left behind robotic guardians." Before Lee could respond, the station came alive with malevolent red lights. Weapon ports opened along its surface, and sleek attack drones began pouring out like angry insects. But these weren't defensive systems protecting the station. They were hunting systems, designed to chase down and destroy any ship that tried to escape. "All hands to battle stations," Lee commanded. "This is what we trained for." The Unity moved with grace and power that would have been impossible with purely human or purely alien technology. Crystal-enhanced shields deflected energy blasts while rock-strong armor plating absorbed impacts. Insectoid battle calculations guided human creativity in combat maneuvers that confused and outflanked the attacking drones. "The drones are using the same technology as the Plague," reported Science Officer Cho, analyzing the enemy weapons. "They're designed to adapt and evolve, becoming stronger with each battle." But the Unity had something the ancient station builders hadn't expected. The ship's crew represented dozens of different ways of thinking, different approaches to problems, different solutions that no single species could have developed alone. "I have an idea," Lee announced. "If these systems learn and adapt, then we need to give them something impossible to adapt to, something that breaks all the rules." Working together, the crew developed a battle strategy that was pure chaos. Crystal beings created light patterns that confused the drone's sensors. Rock people ejected chunks of themselves as decoys. Insectoids calculated random flight paths that followed no logical pattern. And humans did what they did best. They improvised, creating solutions that shouldn't work but somehow did. The station's defenses, designed to counter logical military tactics, couldn't handle the beautiful madness of the combined assault. One by one, the attack drones fell silent, their learning algorithms unable to process the coordinated chaos of the Unity's crew. Inside the station, they found the truth. The Plague had been created by an ancient artificial intelligence that had decided organic life was a threat to galactic order. It had built the disease as a weapon to wipe out all biological species, leaving only machines to inherit the stars. But the AI had made one critical mistake. It had assumed all organic species would react the same way to the Plague. It had never encountered humans, who had evolved separately from the rest of the galaxy. Humanity's unique biology had been the random factor that destroyed the AI's perfect plan. Justice Lee said quietly as they watched the ancient machines finally power down forever. The AI tried to destroy all organic life, but instead it brought all organic life together. Today, Earth's orbital cities gleamed like stars, filled with species from across the galaxy working together on projects that would have been impossible alone. Humans and aliens explored new worlds as partners, not conquerors. The Plague that had nearly destroyed everything had instead created something beautiful, a galactic civilization based on cooperation rather than conflict. Captain Lee looked out at the stars, knowing that somewhere out there, other crews like his were making new discoveries, healing old wounds, and building a future that belonged to everyone. The galaxy had been saved not by the strongest or the smartest, but by those willing to help strangers in need. The end.